I just made these 3 eye-catching Christmas cards for some of my clients using Google Nano Banana Pro and Adobe Firefly. Each card features a unique thematic industry centerpiece, making it look really fun and a little bit eccentric. Then I went ahead to animate all 3 cards using Google Veo 3. I added some sound effects, music, and voila, some Christmas magic, all done using AI. And today I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, so you can impress your clients too. Let's get going. I have broken down this tutorial into 3 simple parts. The first part is ideation. I'm going to share my exact idea formula of coming up with unique concepts no matter the project you're working on using AI. 2, we're going to talk about generation. Here, I'm going to walk you through the exact prompts I use, some tips and tricks, and some challenges you may face and how to get past them. And the final step is animation. Here, we're going to explore how to move from image to video, some challenges you may face, and how to get around them. And finally, adding a little bit of an upscale to make it ready for social media. So, let's start. If you want to jump straight to the prompting section, use this timestamp or the chapters feature below to jump ahead. But I strongly encourage you to stick around to understand the idea framework so you can come up with unique concepts every time you work. In a world where everyone has equal access to really powerful language models, ideas and creativity, in my opinion, have quickly become the only thing that sets us apart. So before you get all excited about prompting, let's take a little step back and spend a little time designing the idea. And I have a simple trick up my sleeves that I call IDEA, I-D-E-A. Framework that helps me solidify and validate my ideas whenever I'm working on a project. Now, IDEA simply stands for Identity, Deconstruction, Engineering, and Atmosphere. Identity is simply understanding the who. Now, this is the profession, the hobby, or the industry you are actually going to be channeling. The trick here is to be specific and not vague. For example, let's say we want to do something in music. Just writing down music is vague. But rather, you could say something like a chaotic jazz drummer or a classical violinist. These two send your brain thinking in completely different directions. Deconstruction is where you mentally break the identity into pieces, which forces you to take a closer look at the elements or the objects that make up that identity in step 1. So maybe you may ask yourself, what are the specific tools, items, textures, trashes, whatever that is associated with this identity that I've chosen? For a classical violinist, things like the wooden violin, the ebony fingerboard, the formal tailcoat, and all these comes to mind. And the more specific the object, the more details and texture you add to the overall concept. Now, the next thing is the engineering. Now, this is super critical. In my examples, this is where we talk about the relationship of the objects to each other. In the example of the Christmas tree, you have these objects welded together. With the gym version, you have the objects floating together or levitating or hovering. And a similar one for the restaurants. For a simple idea, the objects could be stacked, piled, leaning, draped, and for a complex one, the objects could be exploding, hovering, melting, welding. You get the idea. So at the engineering stage is where your creativity really comes to play. And the final stage is the atmosphere. This is the where, or the scene in which the activity is happening. So for context, where does this occur? Where does the artwork live? What space does it occupy? The setting will tell the rest of the story. So you might say, what's the natural habitat of the identity I've chosen? Well, perhaps a violinist placed in a subway or a grand auditorium. You decide and you choose which setting or atmosphere best suits the concept you're creating. So once you have all 4 things together, your mind automatically goes to thinking in detail about the exact thing you're looking for. And from here, you can finally start prompting. My favorite part. For this workflow, I'm going to be using Adobe Firefly Boards for both the image generation and the animation. But Firefly Boards has quickly become my favorite tool for using and generating AI assets for 2 main reasons, right? The first reason is because it's commercially safe. The Adobe Firefly Boards can help you create with confidence, knowing that all the AI are trained on commercially licensed datasets, so you can feel a little bit good about yourself. And the second reason is because I get to test out multiple models all inside one app with just 1 subscription. I don't know about you, but if you have many subscriptions like I do, it becomes quickly overwhelming working in all these different platforms and not having one unified space to work. And the second thing is it gets very expensive. This subscription for image generation, this subscription for upscaling, this subscription for video. With Firefly Boards, you get all of it in one. Video, vector, images, all of that in one subscription. So let's get started with Firefly Boards. So now that we have our concept, which is broken down to our identity, our deconstructed objects, our engineering, and the atmosphere, we need to translate that into a language that AI can understand. This is where most people fail. They have a great idea, but they write a weak prompt like a cool baker's Christmas tree, and AI will give them God knows what. In a cartoon, in a realistic version, it just hallucinates whatever you mean by a cool Christmas baker tree. So today, we're going to use a master prompt that will guide the AI to build exactly what we designed. Here's the exact formula I used for the designs you saw at the beginning of this video. It works because it separates the material from the environment. So it goes like this: a night scene of a beautiful Christmas tree creatively constructed out of deconstructed objects. So this is the portion where you put all the objects within the identity that you've chosen. The next is engineering. This is where you describe what these objects are doing. Are they floating? Are they exploding? Are they melting? Are they welded together? Melting, whatever you want, this is where you put it. The structure is decorated with Christmas lights and a glowing star on top. The tree is set, so this is where you put the atmosphere of the setting. Is it in a park? Is it in a subway station? Is it in a grand auditorium? In this part, you can go wild. You are the idea maker, so type whatever feels right to you, and let's get going. Now let's get prompting and start with the very first example, the mechanical Christmas tree. To get started, you have to go to firefly.adobe.com. Once you're on the page, you're going to see this view right here. You'll either go to create new board if you have this. If it's not there, you can just click the new button on the top left and click boards. It's going to create a whole new board for you, which is an infinite space you can work in. You can drop in videos, images, whatever you want. On the next screen, you can either start by uploading objects or just click new board like so, and you have an empty board for you to create. Now nothing is going to show because your boards are empty. Now this is where you put all your ideas, your tips, whatever you want to get. Now for me, most of the time when I start, I want to get inspiration, right? I have an idea of the images I've created or I want to create. So I will look for things like references on Pinterest, on Behance, and put them on my board. So this is the board I used, and we're going to recreate some of them. And I had so many different examples from the generations I made, and the ones you saw were the ones I liked the most and the ones I picked. For this particular generation, I had a really vivid idea of what I wanted to see because I had gone through the idea framework. So let's start with the very first one, which is the Christmas tree. Now we're going to click on the bottom side that says image generate. And once you're here, I'm going to click on the model thing right there like that. I'm going to shuffle through all these models and pick Gemini 3 Nano Banana Pro. That's the model we're going to use to generate it. It's the new Gemini 3 that got released a few weeks ago, and it's phenomenal at creating anything that you can really think of. I love that model so much. So select Nano Banana Pro and add in your prompt. In our case, here's the prompt we're going to add. So here's the prompt, and you notice I added a few details to personalize it a bit from the master prompt. And you're allowed to do that to make sure that it's yours. Because if everybody's going to be using the exact same master prompt, everything might look the same. Although even if you generate twice, AI is going to give you two different options. But adding certain little features to the master prompt allows it to personalize it to your taste. So in this case, I added a minimal Christmas tree. That was one of the things I added, and I added creatively constructed out of a luster because I wanted the gear to look fresh and shiny and not like they are scrap metal, right? So I added the luster gear, wrenches, engineered components, and scrap metal stacked in form. The structure is adorned with warm Christmas tree lights and a makeshift metal glowing on top. It's standing on a beautiful woven rug surrounded by colorful wrap gifts set against a dramatic red backdrop. And then I click generate. So I worked through a couple of options. This is the first one I got. I didn't quite like it because the tree and the metals looked too scrappy, and I wanted something that looked richer. So I went ahead to prompt again. I changed the prompt. So I went through, I changed the prompt. I had these set. I didn't quite like it. So I just kept going through until I finally ended up at the one that I liked, which was this specific one. So now that I get an idea, you can go ahead and add really little details to your master prompt to make sure that the version that you get is different, is unique, and still has the unique fingerprint that exposes your taste. Now, after I went through the idea framework, my concept was to make Christmas trees out of the very instruments that these industries or identity uses. Now for the first one, which is the Christmas tree made out of mechanical parts, the client was someone in the industry of metal welding and fabrication. So I was thinking of a Christmas tree that is going to be made out of gears, wrenches, and all sort of metals that that client is exposed to. Now the second, which was for the restaurants, I was thinking of using things like cooking utensils, like cutlery, plates, and all of that, and then leave a little bit of residue or a little bit left over on the plate that can communicate a certain feeling of people being super satisfied with the restaurant or eating all the food off the plate. You know, when you really love a restaurant or you really love the food, you're just gonna finish everything. So that was the idea. And the next one, which was the gym, also making a Christmas tree out of all the gym equipment. These are the dumbbells, the kettles, the barbells, the floor mats, the yoga mats, and all of that. You get the idea. And then wrap all of it with certain Christmas items like the glowing lights, the star on top, and perhaps even presents on the floor. Now that I had my concept, I can now run this particular idea through multiple industries and nothing is going to change. And this is what makes the idea framework really powerful, because it allows you to lock in a concept and then apply it across multiple industries, and you're still going to retain the same identity, but then different outputs based on the industry you selected. So that's how I got my results. So for the second option, I come in here, I click, and I paste in my prompt, which says, a night scene of a beautiful Christmas tree creatively constructed out of 6 white ceramic dinner plates. Now I added a 6 because when I started to input this prompt, one of the few things that was happening was that the AI was using way too many plates and other things that I didn't need. What I did was I added 6 white ceramic dinner plates of various sizes, and that is what made me get the final result. Constructed out of 6 white ceramic dinner plates of various sizes, slight traces of food leftovers, hovering dynamically in a spiral stack formation. Now this is what I call the engineering, right? How are these objects relating to each other? In this case, the plates are hovering in a spiral form to create a tree. So that's what I put in there. And then the structure is decorated with warm Christmas string lights and a glowing star on top. The tree is set on a polished wooden restaurant counter against a cozy fireplace. So in this particular case, I was very specific about the foreground, which is where the plates and the counter on which the plates are floating on, the number of plates, and even the style in which the plates are relating to each other. Then I went to the background, described a fireplace and how warm it looks to get the final version. So this is what we just created. And you can see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Although I did ask for 6, it gave me 8, but I still get the idea, it still works, and it still gives me exactly what I'm looking for. So this was how I got the second option. Let's go to the third option. So for the third option, the idea is still the same. Objects in the industry coming together to form a Christmas tree. So for a gym, we are looking at all the other instruments and equipment that you can find in a typical gym, and then I put into place. And this is what I made. So here's the prompt. A night scene of a beautiful Christmas tree creatively constructed out of iron kettlebells, dumbbells, weight plates, and rolled up yoga mats floating around each other, and a glowing star on top. It is set on a black rubber floor in a spacious luxury gym. That's a very simple prompt, but because we identified the object, it gave us this final prompt. So I'm gonna hit enter and see what we get. I had multiple options. I just chose the ones that I liked, which happened to be this one, and I used it as my final piece. And now that we have the stunning visuals for a holiday card, the message is just as important as the image. So here I'm going to head out to Pinterest to look for interesting typography styles, bring them back into Firefly Boards, and use them as a reference with Nano Banana Pro to generate all the text that I would add into these images. Now, side note, although some AI tools can generate text, but for client work, I highly recommend keeping the text and the image separate. Why? Because we all know some clients can be crazy and never satisfied. And if someone does come around to say, hey, can you change the Merry Christmas to Happy Holidays, you don't go back to your prompting and regenerate the whole image and lose the perfect tree that you got. Because one thing about AI generation is you don't often get the same thing if you keep regenerating. So for that to happen, you make sure that we keep the text as a separate process in the post-production stage. And for that, you can use Photoshop, Adobe Express, Canva, or even Illustrator. But one interesting thing about Firefly is Adobe's new Creative Cloud ecosystems comes in handy, because right now all I have to do is right-click the image and say open in Photoshop or open in Adobe Express, and the workspace will switch to Photoshop Web or Express, so I can have that precision control I need to add in my typography. This is not a typography video, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but one rule of thumb is the same way we match the objects to the industry, you can also match the fonts to the industry. Keep that in mind whenever you're designing any type of fonts for any artwork that you're creating. So I went into Pinterest, I found this, and then I used this to create these three right here. So when I click this and click load, you can see the prompt says, use this font style to write Happy Holidays on a white background. And this is what I had. A similar version for this one, I said, use this font style to write Merry Christmas on a white background. And then I got this. Now it gives me a really nice quality, so I can pick it up and send it to Photoshop to edit. Now that we're in Photoshop, I'm planning to put the text right here. And it doesn't look like there's a lot of space in this area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move the tree a little bit down so I have this entire gap to put in the text. I'm now going to press M to select the marquee tool, select in the area, and then I'm gonna click generative fill, hit on fill, and wait for the AI to fill up the empty space where I get to put my text. Now that it's done, it's going to give me several options. Let's try option 2, option 3. Well, option 3 kind of looks good. I just don't like the little thing at the top. So I can also come back and use the marquee tool, go around it and click remove. And it's going to look at the layer and just remove that little option from there so we can have one final clean image. There it is. So I'm going to go back into Firefly, bring in what I made, which is Merry Christmas. And I'm going to download the asset, come back into Photoshop and add in the asset. So I click on this, come all the way to import. Import is going to ask me to find the file on my computer. I'm going to click on the computer, go into my downloads, click what I just generated and just add it in. And now I have this. Now let's make it look better, right? I'm going to put it right here, click done. And I'm going to remove the background by clicking this option, remove background. And this is what we get after removing the background. Of course, it's black, so I want to change it by hitting Command I, which is the inverse option to make it white. Now that we have the text in a color that is easily visible, most people might stop here. But if you want to go further and add in details, this is where the Creative Cloud also comes in handy again. Now I can use a new button and open this particular image straight in my desktop Photoshop and have precision control to add in the little details that I added in my original one, like add a gradient to the font and also color the lights that goes around the Christmas tree. Now, for those who don't have any experience with working with type or working in any software like Photoshop, Illustrator, Canva, Adobe Express, there's a workaround, and you have to do two things. First, use the image you want as an image reference and the text you want as a text reference, and ask Nano Banana Pro to put them together. So I'm going to go back to Generate, and inside here, I'm going to click on Image, then select the image I want to use, which is the gym image right here, click. Now I'm going to click on Image again, and I'm going to click on the text I want to use, which is Merry Christmas. I'm going to click that. And then I'm going to type add the Merry Christmas text onto this image. Now the reason why I don't like using this option is you don't have control over where the text is placed. You can try as much as possible to describe it, but sometimes AI can just be AI and give you some stuff that you really can't work with. But just in case you're somebody who doesn't have an option, this is what you do. So let's click generate and let's see the option that we get. The generation is done. Let's take a look. Well, it did do a good job, I can say. The loops are interacting nicely, although some part is missed out. But the biggest mistake is the fact that it's still black. I think we can fix that by going back and loading the image. And in here, we are going to say clearly. There's a weak prompt, but let's see how it goes. So what? Let's see how it goes. Whilst it's loading, I'm going to do another one and type make text white. Enter. Now we have two options. Now this is the first option that AI gave us. It did make it nice actually. It's not that bad at all. That's actually quite good. It's quite clear. It works well with the design. It goes right behind the pillars and it comes back nicely. That's not bad at all. Now let's see the white version. It's not bad at all. I mean, you can keep going further by prompting until you get the very text that you want. But one thing I'm trying to let you avoid is the fact that with every time you hit generate, you are losing credits. And in the world of AI, credit is money. So if you can avoid prompting things that you can control on your own, like the text, it's a much better option. Because if you go through 15 prompts or 15 generations before you get the one that you want, that's 14 versions that you are not going to use that cost you money you shouldn't have spent on. So let's see what the white version looks like. And this is what I mean. In this option, it decided to place the Merry Christmas on the floor. The perspective is all right, but this is not what we want. And in this case, this is money lost. So now that we have a finished print-ready card, for 90% of people, this should be enough. But I promise we're going to change this into video as well. So we're going to take the static design, add some magic, and make it move. So now let's head into the final and most exciting phase, which is the image to video generation. Now here's the biggest secret to high quality AI videos. Input quality dictates the output stability. This is something that you really have to understand, right? Because current AI models like Veo 3.1, Runway, Pika, or even the new Clink are really amazing. But sometimes they tend to compress images and lose detail. So if you feed them with a standard image, the final results might look often soft or even mushy. And to get the best results, it makes sense that you actually upscale the first frame of the image before you actually throw it into the model. So in this case, we're going to create two images, and the system we're going to use is first image and second image, or first frame and last frame. So we're going to have the first frame be the starting point of the video. And in this case, we're going to work like this. Here's how we're going to create the animation. Step 1, we're going to pick our final image. This is our gym tree with a text on top. Step 2, we're going to delete the text and the gym tree itself so we can get a clean slate to work from. And step 3, we're going to upscale that version to get the highest quality. We're going to upscale inside Photoshop using the new Topaz upscaler, or you can use any image upscale of your choice. If you don't have access to any of this, Firefly also comes with its own inbuilt image upscale. All the options work. Try the one that works best for you and then get ready to start. So now that we have our clean slate, we jump back into Firefly, go to image generate and select from the options Veo 3.1. Now I did try the other models, but the one that gave me the best results was Veo 3.1, especially with how it animated all the text. Now I gave it a rather vague instruction for the text animation, but what Veo 3.1 did was just absolutely amazing. So you go to Veo 3 in video generate. Now the first frame is where you load the empty image, and the last frame is where you pick the final image. Now what this tells the AI is you have to start from point 1, an empty gym, to point 2, a gym full of items and text, which is the tree made out of gym equipment and the font that says Merry Christmas. Now here you come back and you type in a prompt that will look something like this. A slow buildup of gym equipment floating into the scene, forming a Christmas tree with lights, while the text slowly animates into place magically. So keywords, floating into the scene. That's why the objects will come floating into the scene. And the next would be the text slowly animates into place magically. So it's gonna sort of take the word magically and try to find a way for it to just pop up. You can use certain words that makes it very specific to how you want the text to appear, and you want to try its best to do that. So from here, I'm going to click on generate. Now there's a little option here that says audio that adds the inbuilt sound effect. Now if you turn it off, you don't really lose any credit, so you might as well just keep it on. If you like it, you keep it. If not, you go into Premiere Pro or any editing software you have to add in your own sound effects. So I'm going to click generate and wait for the magic. Now that it's done, this is what we get. Wow, like perfection. This is so beautiful. Damn, this is really good. Now, depending on what you're creating, you can just substitute the words, a slow build-up of whatever, and everything else will work. Like, I've tried this with all the 3 different versions I had, and I had really good results. Now that you have your video, there are other things you can do. For instance, image generation inside Firefly or even Veo 3 has a limitation. You can only generate up to 8 seconds of footage. So if you want to do more, you have to move to other models that allow you to extend and go beyond that 8-second limit. Or there's a little trick you can do by moving the artwork or the video inside Premiere Pro and use the new Premiere Pro extend feature to extend it long enough for you to add in some few sound bites or other things you want to add. Also, you do get some sound effects that come with the generation, and for most use cases, those sound effects actually do work. But if you love to add your own sound effect and music, you can hop into Premiere Pro like I did, add some sound effects and music, and you are done. Finally ready for social media to get all those likes and clicks. Well, we're done. You can also choose to upscale the video right inside Firefly using Topaz or any other upscale that you prefer. Now for this case, because it's going to social media, we can use the video as it is because the standard resolution, which is 720p, was great, or I can upscale to 1080p or 4K using the inbuilt upscaler by Topaz inside Firefly. As a creative, I keep getting surprised more and more by what AI can do and how I'm integrating it into my workflow. Now this is how I feel. I believe that the future of creativity is inviting AI as a creative co-pilot, right? Now the AI has the technical skills to render the pixels, but you and me have the idea, the concept, the experience, the creativity to bring things to life. That makes us the visionary. Now it really allows us to imagine and think freely whilst dotting our I's and crossing our T's with the power of AI's expertise. That rhymed. Okay. So now that you have this blueprint, you can go ahead and create this for any theme, any client, any industry. As long as you have the ability to deconstruct your concept, you can create anything. No limitations. Well, unless you have very little credits on Adobe Firefly, which can be a pain. But you get the idea. The limit really doesn't exist. And I'm truly eager to see what you build with the idea framework. So do tag me when you finally have something finished. I would love to see it. And for those who stuck around to the very end, I have a very special gift for you. I'm going to leave a link in the description to my Adobe Firefly boards. So you can go in there and see all the raw mess I made. Every single tile I generated, all the prompts I used, the ones I liked, the ones I didn't like. So you can have a hands-on exploration and experimentation with the works I created. It's all yours. Just go in there, but make sure you don't mess it up for other people because other people are going to use the same link to explore the same art space. So do try check it out. The link is in the bio. So don't forget to like and subscribe for more workflows that puts you in the pilot seat. Happy creating and happy holidays. Catch you later.